Hi, GQ fam. Molifa Kumona here, the GQ editor-in-chief, and today we're talking men's mental health, breaking barriers and just building resilience and diving deep into the topic, brought to you today by Momentum. I'm with Damien McHugh, who is the Chief Marketing Officer for Momentum Health, as well as television personality, doctor, broadcaster, Dr. Michael Moore.
I just hope my kids are watching, because kids, the editor of GQ,
Oh, wow.
I'm sitting next to, has sneakers on with his suit. Look at your dad. He's doing the same thing, man. I've still got it just like a little bit, but
It's actually
collared shirt I could probably lose that day. We should have worn t-shirts.
no. I think this looks stunning.
Hey.
Looks stunning.
I don't like it, but
Absolutely. And I love the pocket square as well. So, gents, this month is Men's Health Month, as well as Men's Mental Health Month.
Yeah.
I'll start with you, Michael. How do you? What are some of those things you do to give back to yourself so that your mental health is in check? What are those?
So the World Health Organization says there's no health without mental health, which is a good statement, but it also implies that you need to kind of work on your mental health and your physical health. And that's partly true. What's really true is what's good for the body is good for the brain.
Oh, yes.
So what you're doing for yourself, you're also doing for your brain. That's just a good base. So if you were to ask me how I look after myself, what's like complete health, I'd say it's a strong body, sharp mind, a heart that's connected, and a future that's not going to bankrupt.
Oh, wow.
We're talking financial health.
Yes,
So-
yes.
And for men, so important when it comes to your physical health. Muscle mass is so important. I mean, that's a proxy for longevity these days. I mean, you know, that way more than BMI or any of the other markers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Muscle mass.
Why is that though?
Just because of the metabolic nature of muscles. And the more muscle you have, the lower your insulin resistance. There's just so much that kind of builds into having more muscle. You're firing. Your metabolic balance, if you like, is way better when you have more muscle.
Oh, wow.
Which is interesting, because the older you get, we should be spending more time in gym and less time running, riding, which is ironic. But
I didn't know this.
let me sum for you quickly. So physical health,
Yeah.
mental health, absolutely. Because, I mean, the suicide rate in men is
high.
5 times more than it is in women. Even though depression is twice as, I suppose, diagnosed twice more in women than in men, it kills more men because of that suicide. So mental health, mental state, your sleeping, the way you deal with stress, vitally important. And then I would say financial health is really important. Damon can speak to this.
Yes, absolutely.
But finances for men, man, it keeps you awake at night. That level of cortisol goes up. It's a health risk issue. So for me, men's health is not a spa day. It's showing up strong.
Yeah.
It's being, connected to family and community, which is also really important. Loneliness, more dangerous than smoking 15 cigarettes a day, according to Harvard. More dangerous than obesity. It's so important to be part of a community. And then, financial health, key. So there's a whole bunch of things there. Yeah,
Absolutely. And for you, Damien, how do you give back to yourself in terms of your mental health?
probably don't do as much as Michael, but I think for me, it's about being. I've always in our health business, I've always used the word that your health is your wealth. Without having health, you put everything else at risk.
Yes.
And quite simply, if you were getting sick today, how much money would you give to get healthy? And I mean really sick. Pick up cancer, pick up, whatever it is, one of those big kind of scary illnesses. What would you pay to get rid of it?
Yeah.
And most of us would pay everything we have.
Yeah.
So the most important asset we have is our health. So what Mark's talking about is health isn't just, and Mark, I've known Mark for a long time, and he said something to me very powerful once. He said, the absence of sickness isn't health. And
Okay.
it's not an opposite thing. I'm not sick, therefore I'm healthy. No, you're not sick, therefore you're not sick.
I get it.
I need to be healthy.
Yeah.
And you need to do things to become healthy. You need to rest well. You need to move well. You need to sleep well. You need to connect well. And it's those aspects, I think, which we try to encourage to ensure that you then are healthy and you protect your wealth. Because you're going to give all of your money up if you're going to get sick. So if you want to protect your money, the first thing you need to do is maintain your health.
What trends have you observed in terms of men's engagement to health services as opposed to women?
It's quite interesting, and we're pretty bad at it actually.
Yeah.
As men, we run, and I'll talk about some stats in two of our programs. In our medical scheme itself, mental medical scheme, we have a benefit called the health platform, and really what that does is it encourages people to test. So the old adage, stitch in time saves nine, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So go and have your prostate checked so that we can catch it early. Go and have a mammogram so we can catch breast cancer early. Go and have a pap smear. Go do your dental checkups. Those things in normal medical schemes come from your savings account. In ours, we've kind of moved that and said those are important. You shouldn't have to pay for them. The medical scheme should pay for them. No, ultimately you're paying for them yourself. But medical scheme covers those. Now, when we look at men engaging with that, we look at women engaging with that, we see two very different trends. So a guy going for a prostate happens, or a lady having a pap smear or a mammogram happens 20 to 30% more often than a guy doing his prostate. Now, it might be because of the nature of the exam.
Yeah.
May have something to do with it. Maybe we don't like to chip in there.
No, definitely. I was about to.
So we as men don't do the preventative stuff. We're probably more shy. We don't engage with that. We don't talk about it as much. And that's a danger. In our Multiply program, we encourage people to know their health. You've got a very simple thing. It's actually, I'll just use your phone. You can literally just hold your phone up to your face.
Yeah.
Scans your face, able to give you heart rate, blood pressure. So very easy. You don't have to go for some difficult checkup with the doctor, right? And in that context, 20 to 30% less. Women are doing it more, particularly at the younger ages. In that sort of 20 to 30 cohort, 30% more women are doing Know Your Health than men. Why? Now, maybe at that age, women are more conscious of their health. They're thinking about having kids. Maybe. I don't know. But what I'm telling you is men are worse at thinking about healthcare and engaging with their healthcare than what women are. So we see that, and it's bad, because if we can catch prostate cancer early, if we can whatever, if we can find out early enough, A, the prognosis is better, but B, it's also less costly for you and for your family when the treatment's less costly. It's easier on you and it's easier on your family. So we should, as men, just be a little bit more courageous and actually just have those checks done.
Absolutely. Before I get to you, Dr. Michael, what I've realized, right, is haven't you seen that as gents, we don't go for checkups? I mean, I used to think like this, but obviously I've learned better, because you don't want to find out something is wrong.
Yeah.
You're almost afraid of that. So in your professional opinion, what did you say?
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
I'd rather not know. And there's this whole cultural stigma around just tough it out. You know what I mean? Men don't complain. Men don't cry. 1995, Kitch Christie's last game against the Brits against England with the Springboks at Twickenham, victory, well done Kitch, but he's dying from leukemia. It's the last time he plays. So he goes onto the field, which he never does, hangs with the team in a huddle, and every Springbok huddle they end by going Bokke, and he's between Dalton and Pienaar.
Yeah.
And they Bokke, and they break 3 of his ribs. But he doesn't say a word. He goes back and he finishes the game, and that's Kitch Christie. And we're like, what a man, how cool is that? But Kitch, that's crazy, don't you? You've got to get that seed to see things, check things out. And men don't do that because of this bravado. So the two things men don't do particularly well. Well, there's a lot, but two in particular. We don't talk about our feelings, and we don't talk about how we feel.
Yes.
And to your point, ignorance, I don't want to know, but also this is like, why should I worry? It's this, I don't need to be paranoid. Instead, Multiply Momentum encourages screening. That's not paranoia. That's strategic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Don't think you can say I'm fine. Make sure you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's really key. So, from a checkup perspective, absolutely. I mean, prostate cancer. That's why I wanted. Damn it! It's not the finger. It's a little blood test. It's a small blood draw. And if you can't handle needles, get over yourself. This is really, really important.
Yeah.
And let me say this, particularly for Black South African men. So statistically, 1 in 15 South African men will get prostate cancer in their lifetime. When it comes to Black South African men, it's 1 in 5. 1 in 5. Look at who's in the room.
Yes.
One of you get prostate cancer, and you get it sooner and more aggressively. Don't ask me why. We don't know. We just know those are the statistics. So if that's you, by the age of 40 or 45, annually, you should be doing that little PSA test. We talk about men's strength, right?
Yeah.
It's about protecting our family.
Yes.
What better way to protect your family than making sure you're taking care of yourself so you can take care of your family? Your family's not protected if you're not around. And so make sure that you're doing that. We're very quick to take our car for a service.
Absolutely.
Hey, our cars are often.
Definitely.
How often have you taken your body for a service? When last did you?
Yeah, for me.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Most people don't do it at all. And I think that's what we really want to get to is help people just know their health. Just know it. Then you can do something about it. And if it's too late, yes, then you've waited. I think so many of the illnesses we see are actually treatable if you've found it early. And just take that ownership. I often get asked by men, particularly, like, so what screening should I do?
Yes, I was about to.
At what age? Yeah. Like, I'm 20, so what am I going to do to my 20s? And at 20s, we kind of feel like we're bulletproof, but it's at that age that you're building a foundation. So that's when you want to check your blood pressure. In fact, I get my name from a late uncle who at 23 was a medical student, driving home from the hospital, pulled his car from the side of the road, had a stroke, a brain attack, and died.
Oh, no.
I was born a year later. I got his name. So I studied medicine. 23. He had malignant high blood pressure. In other words, didn't know he had it. There were no symptoms. And that was the first symptom. So to Damien's point, just because you're not sick doesn't mean you're healthy. Yeah. You need to be proactive about your health. So, but back to screening. 20. So blood pressure, you need to know that. You need to check your weight and your waist. So weight is one thing, but also waist, because the dangerous fat is that belly fat, that executive overhang, the muffin top. What else at your 20s? You want to check testicular cancer. All right. It's not weird. In a warm shower, when that scrotum was nice and soft, that's when you check your testicles.
How do you do that?
Well, you literally just roll it around on your fingers and you'll pick up a lump, a bump, something that's unusual. And you won't pick it up if you don't do it regularly enough. Yeah. I'm not saying 3 times a day, with a closed door, not that kind of stuff, guys. It's just, the point is, don't shy away from something that's vitally important. Between 15 and 35, that's the peak of testicular cancer. So in your 20s, you want to be doing those kind of things.
And then when you get to 30, after 40. So I think, yeah.
So when you get to your 30s and 40s, I think what's happening there is your insulin sort of sensitivity goes up or goes down a little bit. So suddenly your blood sugar becomes a bit more of an issue. Yeah. I would check your liver function, especially if the weekends are still a bit boozy. You want to check liver. And then you also want to check your skin. Men are more likely, twice more likely to die from melanoma than women are. So think about that next time you don't put sunscreen on the sun. Very key. So check your skin too. That's key. And then when you get into your 50s, you're looking at sort of bone strength. So like a DEXA scan, you want to measure muscle again as well, because muscle is youth muscle, it's longevity, all that sort of stuff. But and I suppose in your 50s, in fact in your 40s already, you want to do a colonoscopy as well. That's another big thing for men. Not fun, not exciting, but way more exciting than colon cancer. Yeah, those are some tests I would highly recommend.
And how would you suggest? Because I think one of the most difficult things is gents know about it, but how do we get them to do something about it? What are some of those things we can do? Because I've realized a lot of times we have a lot of this information, but just that step, the how. Because a lot of people are looking like the how. How do I start?
I'm going to throw that to Daniel, but can I quickly say this? Men don't react to what I've just done, actually, ironically. They don't react to the scare tactics. Yeah. You don't scare me. Yeah. But gamify it. Make it fun. Give me a reward. Men tend to respond to that better. So yeah, that's maybe where the answer lies. I used to drink a lot of Coca-Cola, and it's a great drink. It tastes wonderful, but it's not really good for you. The sugar content and so on is very high. Mike used to say to me, Damien, Coke's, drink some more water. Don't drink as much Coke. 4 kidney stones later, I stopped drinking Coke. Oh, wow. Right. So don't wait for the event before you make the change. You can have one of those moments. For me, kidney stones are painful, but they're not life-threatening necessarily. Sometimes it's a life-threatening thing that you do, and then it's too late. So don't wait because often men wait for the event. Yeah. I have the heart attack before I change my lifestyle. Don't wait for the event. Change the lifestyle before prevent it. So that would be, for my own journey. Yeah. I think that's something that I've learned.
So what happened with you? How did you discover that you have the pain? Obviously, because
it's just immense, right?
So how long did it take you from I've got a pain, I'm gonna go check it out, or did you go like maybe a Panadol, maybe antibiotic? Like
no, what happened? No, the pain of a kidney stone is you need to go now. But I didn't change straight away. So I was training to run a marathon. So I was running all the liquid out of my body, leaving behind the sugars and the bad stuff that you will find. And so, and that's what, it wasn't the fact that I was drinking Coke, to be honest. It was the fact that I was drinking only Coke.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't drinking water and so on. So I wasn't living healthy. So
Yes.
I thought I was healthy, but the absence of sickness doesn't make you healthy. I had to actually stop doing some of the stuff. And Mark's point about being incentivized, I think is something which, look, we all respond differently. Some of us respond to the carrot, some of us respond to the stick, some of us respond to a bit of both. Our programs are really designed to try and encourage you to respond to the carrot. So reward you for doing the right thing.
Yes.
And we do that with a whole range of different incentives, whether it be partner awards where your partner discounts become bigger on travel or gym or, those types of things. But we also give you money back. So we've designed our incentive program to actually pay you money back in your pocket.
For taking care of yourself.
For taking care of yourself. So if you imagine your medical scheme premium, I don't know, costing you 3,000 Rand, and let's say 800 Rand of that is going into a savings account. What if you could earn that savings account for free? So instead of paying 3,000 Rand, you're now paying 2,200 Rand, and you earn your savings for free. So we pay you what we call health returns.
Yes.
Returns on your health, using your health as an asset, and pay you that money back. You can actually lower your financial contribution to healthcare because you are living healthier and you're getting rewarded with that money. So that's a way of encouraging somebody to live and hopefully live a healthier lifestyle by getting those rewards. So we do both. The stick one, you're going to experience yourself.
Yeah.
We're there for you. So my kidney stone was paid by my medical aid, great. But it didn't have to get there, right? And I could have prevented it. Rewards are great.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love what Multiply is doing in Momentum. But there are inherent rewards in being healthy that go way beyond that. I mean, for one, when you're healthy, you get your brain back.
Yeah.
So just imagine a sharp brain, a focused brain, quick. You're in the meeting, you own the moment because your brain is all there. You get that from being healthy. So you get your brain back. You muscle up. And again, we talked about this a lot,
Yes.
but there's something, I mean, if you've been training hard, you walk taller, you're jacked, you feel more confident, you own the room. Yeah, it's all part of just feeling healthy. It's fantastic. And then emotionally, man, you rock it. So suddenly you're not snapping at your kids.
Yeah.
You're not crashing at 3 PM. You're not like, meh, and you got like moody shoes and you just want to plop on the couch. You own those emotions, and suddenly you become the guy that people going, don't know what he's doing, but I want to be like him.
Yeah.
And that's inherent reward. You're no longer the guy that says, I should train more, or is Googling motivational hacks. You're the guy getting up early. That discipline is shaping you and molding you, and it's legacy for your kids, because look at what dads do. That. And when you get to that point, but you don't go back.
Yeah.
You don't fall, you're like, I'm here, I'm going to stay, and I'm building a strong life by health.
So what would you say, though? What would you recommend, like the 3 things a man can incorporate into their daily routine to build a healthy lifestyle?
It's a great question. So it's Men's Health Month. What should you do this month? 3 things. Do the checkup. To Damien's point, don't wait until something breaks, because it's going to be more expensive, more painful, more difficult to fix. So do the checkups, get your blood pressure done, get your cancer screenings, get your blood tests done, your HbA1c, your glucose, all that sort of stuff. Do the checkup, gentlemen, number 1. Second thing, I said it way often, build some muscle. Just do some decent workouts. 2 to 3 resistance sessions a week is all you need to maintain and grow muscle. Muscle is good for you. It's a fantastic proxy for longevity. And then I think the third thing, what would I do is I would sleep. Just prioritize sleep. I tell you what, gents, we don't do this. Here's the shocking statistic, and this is not the carrot, this is the stick. Men who sleep 5 hours or less have got smaller testicles than men who sleep 7 hours or more. It's a scientific fact. So the next time you're at the office and someone boasts about, I get by in 5 hours, you're like, buddy, I know something about you. We don't want you to know, but really, sleep for men is huge.
So supposing you sleep 5 hours, you're watching this, then you're like, no, I need to fix that. So if you sleep 8 hours or 7 hours, will they grow back?
They will. And it's not growing back, it's your testosterone level. So if you're sleeping, you're not getting enough hours, sleeping 5 hours, 6 hours or less, you get a dip in testosterone. Low testosterone, no libido, that's the obvious one. Low muscle mass, belly fat, and brain fog. And how many men don't you know battle with all that? It's testosterone. And what is testosterone? You get testosterone when you sleep. In fact, during REM sleep is when testosterone is produced. So if you're going to skimp and sleep, you're dropping testosterone. It's the last thing you want to do. So, gents, when it comes to your sleep, I would prioritize that. Those three things. So do the checkup, build some muscle, and make sure you sleep like your life depends on it, because it kind of does. And when it comes to sleeping, there's a couple of things you could do. I would say keep your room cool, dark, and quiet like a Batman. I mean, that's key. Here's an interesting one. No coffee within 90 minutes of getting up.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So most people want to get up and have their cup of coffee, not within 90 minutes, because your body naturally wakes up with cortisol. If you're having caffeine within 90 minutes, it blunts that natural cortisol spike and you get the brain fog. You get the and it messes you up for your sleep later that night. So no coffee within 90 minutes of waking up, cool, dark, and quiet. And I would say have a decent wind down routine, no meals between, for 2 to 3 hours. But most importantly, there's a lot of information here. Sorry, guys, it's consistency. So same time to bed, same time to wake up, Monday through Sunday. Don't change on the weekends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow, that's like a bit of a fire hydrant.
No, but I'm actually thinking about it, because how do you then manage? I'm sure you also have a hectic schedule as well as you, Damien. How do you manage those times when you have a speaking engagement or when you have a work event where you have to go beyond, let's say you usually sleep at 9. You have to go beyond 9 o'clock. Then you have to speak, say, at 8:30, and you can't really be home by 30 minutes. What do you do?
Yeah, it's tricky, and it's a great question, Innovator. So you've got grace an hour either way. So if you get to bed normally at 10, if you can get to bed by 11, and obviously building your 7 hours, get up at 6, you're still fine. If you're going beyond an hour, then you start to mess with consistency. And it's interesting, your brain doesn't get it. So if you're missing that consistency, even if you're getting 7, 8 hours, if it's not consistent, you're not getting that deep recovery, that deep sleep. And so you just need to, I suppose, own that space and kind of go, guys, I'm done, or I'm not going to go. If I can party till 2, I mean, it's hard to be that guy, but
I'm that guy. I'm always that guy. I'm like, I need to leave early. Like, I'll see you all later.
That man, listen to him. He knows what he's talking about. So it's a bit of discipline.
Yeah.
It's a bit of discipline. What Mark shared around muscle, around sleep, around exercise, around getting your checks. It's about changing your discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard. We get into these routines, whether it's work routines, I'll get up early, I have my coffee quickly, I'll work 12 or 15 hours or whatever. It's just changing those disciplines. Nothing we should be doing. We should never be working 15 hours a day. It's not good for our family. Never mind. I talk about mental health, not there for your family. So all of those disciplines, you need to check your discipline and how you're measuring up against those disciplines, because it's not difficult. It's actually quite easy to do, but you've got to make the change and change the habit. The habits that we currently have, many of us, are bad habits. And if we change those habits, we can actually have a really big impact on later life. And one of the things we talk about here is the here and now of health.
Yeah.
That sort of butterfly effect or raindrop into a river type of effect of what that does for us later.
Yeah.
Is really significant. So the butterfly says, if you flap your butterfly wings here and create a storm somewhere else, it's that sort of just gentle change that it changes in your life over a period of time. When you get to 70 and you're retired and you've made your money and you can't use it because you're in a wheelchair, or you can't use it because you're lying in a bed, and you become a burden on your family because physically someone has to keep looking after you. That's not the life you want to live. So yes, you've lived this wonderful 50 years from 20 to 70, partying all the time, having great fun and whatever, but another 20 years after that. Yeah. And that foundation that you build now is so important for the health that you have when you retire as well. Mark often talks about the why. Why do you do it? And my why is one day I want to be able to kick a ball with my grandkids.
Yeah.
I don't just want to watch them play. Can I play with them?
Yeah.
And so can I be healthy at that point? Is my bone health strong? Is my muscles strong? So that I can enjoy playing with hopefully some grandchildren, whether it's girls or boys. That's my why. So have a good why, and we often, when we're 20 and 30, we don't think about, that life I'm going to live when I'm 70. I'm kind of getting closer to that day now. And but it's hard to go back and change something.
Yeah.
I can't go back and change it. That foundation that I've lived is maybe not a good one. So think about the Damien or the person that you want to be when you're 60 or 70 years old, and the stuff that you're doing now. Michael's, laid out in some really key, simple ways. Or I love that, Damien. And to add on to what you're saying, you don't have to be perfect
Mhm.
when it comes to health. You just have to be proactive.
It got you.
So if I, at the age of 80, want to be able to pick up an 8-kilogram suitcase and put it into an overhead cabin because I want to travel at 80, then at 40 or 50, I need to be able to do that with a 20-kilogram weight. So you're building for the future, and you need to see health not as a chore, but as a competitive advantage.
Yeah, I love
That makes a lot.
I love that.
It's
I love
more.
that. I love that. And what does Damien Momentum Multiply do to help members overcome those types of challenges that come with maintaining a healthy lifestyle?
Every one of us is on a different journey, and we have to engage with the person in that specific part of their journey. So we try and provide information to that individual where they are at, not where we want them to be.
Yeah.
Ideally, where they want to go, we want to help them get there. So it's a nudge. It's to say, hey, Damien, have you slept well today? Hey, Damien, have you eaten well today? Or, hey, Damien, have you done your exercise today? So we have rewards that reward the sort of instant stuff.
Yeah.
So like a daily win. Have I done my activity today? There's a little reward.
Yeah.
If I've done that over a week, then there's a weekly reward. If I've done it over the month, then there's a monthly reward. So it's almost this nudging and helping somebody on that journey. Now, someone might be as active as Michael. They're doing it 3 times a week. They're running in between. So they're getting their exercise. We just reward them for that continuance. But someone like me who's not there yet, I go, Damien, why don't you start? And then you start to get rewarded. And I almost get the same reward as Mike in the beginning, but then it ramps up. Okay, Damien, you've done it for twice. To get that reward now, you've got to do it 3 times. So there's a bit of a nudge into the program, and we help that person. It becomes a bit more personalized and help that individual on their journey. So that's what we try and do to help with the positive side. Still requires the person to have the discipline to get up and do the stuff. But the program also doesn't just reward physical activity. I think that's important. Mark shared a lot about the mental well-being.
Yeah.
So we believe we're one of the first programs worldwide that actually measures your sleep. So, using devices like watches and so on, we have that ability now to measure sleep. So we measure what we call restfulness or mindfulness with a recharge day. So you scan your face using that technology early in the morning, not late in the day, early in the morning. So we can test now, have you had a good rest? And we reward you for the rest as well as the activity. So we start to help, not just, hey, it's always go to the gym and reward you for the gym, but you're not measuring the mental health as well. So the program does it on both aspects. And we nudge you in both of those journeys.
Wow.
It's great tech that they're using, by the way. They're measuring heart rate variability through something called remote photoplethysmography. I just had to say because it sounds so cool. That thing, that's selfie that you do. But when your heart beats, between heartbeats, there's a varied time delay.
Okay.
And the more varied, the better. We call that heart rate variability.
Wow.
The lower the variability, the worse. The higher the variability, the better. So you want a heart that's adaptive. So your heart adapts to, inspiration, expiration, what's happening around the day, your environment. And that's a healthy heart, a heart that can't adapt, an unhealthy heart. And so if you measure your heart rate variability in the morning, it gives you a good indication of how well you've recovered the night before. Higher HRV means you're ready for the day, you're going to crush today. A lower HRV, probably less. You should focus more on your sleep.
Oh,
Just
okay.
the basic rule.
And talking about sleep, you said earlier off camera that more than 9 hours is too much. And you said you're a sleep king.
Oh, I love my sleep.
You can sleep. So
I can sleep now.
You can. I also am great at sleeping. And so what I wanted to find out is, let's say someone like me, sometimes I'll nap for 2 hours during the day. Then obviously I will still sleep the 7 hours or 8 hours. Is that too much? Does that contribute to the 9 hours, or
is the board listening? I mean, 2 hours nap a day. That's like, hey, we paying you.
No.
Those
2 hours nap a day, like
the week. Well, it was a weekday. So you know what? Like, I mean, I'm giving you a hard time. So that's fine. Now I get you. I hear what you said. Don't let me derail that. So napping's interesting. The general recommendation is if you want to nap, it's around 20 to 30 minutes. Okay. But I would actually do movement instead of napping. Just you're getting way more wins by doing something a little more active. Go for a walk, have a walking meeting, do a light jog, whatever you want to do, some sort of movement during the day, more effective than a nap, okay? And here's why. When you sleep, there are 3 cycles. You sleep in 90-minute cycles, and there are 3 cycles within that 90 minutes. The first 45 minutes of that 90-minute cycle is just light sleep. So your body's kind of just dozing off and you're relaxing. Then your next cycle is 22 minutes. That's deep sleep. In deep sleep, your muscles repair, your immune system kind of rebuilds itself. So that's how you beat those colds. And then in the last cycle of that 90 minutes, the last remaining 22 minutes is REM sleep, rapid eye movement. That's when your brain resets, detoxifies, just kind of regulates all the emotions, all the memories, files things. And that's vital work that needs to be done. If you don't do that, you find that this little like origin part of your brain, this area called your amygdala, which is where your fear and your flight and anxiety sit and reside, that starts to fire off kilter. That just goes berserk if you haven't got enough REM sleep. And the connection between your amygdala and your cortex, which is your logical thought and decision-making brain, that gets shut down. And so you'd start becoming irrational, can't think straight, can't make good decisions. And it's because you're not getting enough REM sleep. Okay. Now, the challenge with REM sleep is you need to do the 45 minutes plus a 22 minutes to get into REM sleep. So if you don't do the full cycle, you're not getting decent REM sleep. Your body's not recovering. Your brain is not refreshing. And so if you have that sleep interrupted, new parents, interrupted sleep, thick necks, snoring, sleep apnea, interrupted, your body wakes up all the time, you're not getting any REM sleep, you're not getting the brain recovery, and you just slowly kind of at risk for depression. Dementia 30%, depression goes up almost 200% if you're not getting proper sleep. So way too many stats.
Yeah.
All to say, I would rather save your quality sleep
For later.
Because you want to get as many of those cycles in a sleep. 7 hours means you get at least 3 cycles in, hopefully 4. 9 is just too much. You become a sedentary person if you sleep over 9. And when it comes to napping, 20 minutes, but ideally do some movement. It's far more creative, far more boosting to your system than a nap would be.
Because I think maybe I come from the school of thought. You know, sometimes and I think it comes from when we're younger, when a child is aggravated and annoyed, to like, just take a nap, they'll be fine. So I think as you grow older, at least for me, as I've grown older, it actually works. If I'm just like a bit annoyed, like just like I'm over this, I take a nap, I'm refreshed. So you're saying instead of that, take a walk, do some physical activity.
Have a punching bag set up in GP offices.
That work.
And go punch a bag for 10 minutes. Way more that work than a nap.
So, since our listeners, right, spend a certain percentage of their lives at work, I'd like to ask both of you, how can workplace cultures be transformed to support men's health and men's mental health more effectively? What can workplaces do? I think maybe I'll start with you, Damon.
Thanks, Billy. Man, I think workplaces are a microcosm of the world anyway, right? We work together. We don't always necessarily get on with each other, I guess, in some cases. But it's important that the workplace creates a safe space for people to be able to share both their feelings and what they're feeling. And I think Mark spoke about it a little bit earlier. If you're feeling comfortable, you will operate better. So if you're physically better, so create some of those spaces. Mark just, said, well, put a punch bag up in the office.
Absolutely.
Is there a treadmill? Is there some place for people to get into the office and maybe they have to leave early to beat traffic? Well, let them do some exercise at work, to give them a place to shower. So you give people a space for them to have an all-round well environment. Yes, we're coming there to work. We're coming there to deliver what we need to deliver, but we want to be able to interact with people. So create a space where people can interact with one another, share with one another, where a friendship can be, geez, I'm struggling today. Can you help me with this? So there's a place where I can share in a safe space, place where I can be physical in a safe space. And therefore create an environment where, look, men are not great at it anyway. We're not great at sharing our feelings, but having friendships in a workplaces are important, I think, so that you can get over some of those stigmas of, men don't cry. So, as an employer, I would try and create spaces for employees to engage different aspects of their body, both physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and allow some places for that, and allow people to take that mental rest. So you're saying, 5-hour meeting, I'm tired, I need sleep. Well, let the person go and walk away somewhere. Let them go and walk on a treadmill. Create an environment where the workspace isn't just your desk and a chair. Create a room where there's a treadmill. I remember doing a meeting with Mike once, and he was walking on a treadmill, actually riding on his bike while doing the Zoom meeting. It's like, geez, Mike, what are you doing? He's, oh, I just want to be active. I don't want to be sitting behind my desk all the time. I think one of the stats that, and Mike will probably know it better than me, is sitting like this, like we are, is as bad as smoking a cigarette if you do it for long periods of time. So, let your employees engage their body physically. They will be better in the work they deliver for you as well, and then they'll be more engaged. So create spaces where there's less absenteeism and less presenteeism, and you do that by creating a place where men have the ability to thrive, and they need to do that in those three things: physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It was a great study. There's a study that compared sitting to smoking. Every cigarette we smoke, we shorten life expectancy by 11 minutes. Every hour we sit, we shorten life expectancy by 22 minutes.
Wow.
Almost safer to go out and have a smoke break on a regular basis. No, I should mention that. It's way more important just to move more often. Yep. And I know we are encouraged to get 10,000 steps each day, but it's actually more important to move every single hour, just to get up, punch a bag, make a phone call, do some jumping jacks. But to answer the second part of Damon's question, and I think Damon captured everything, I would add maybe two things to that. One, firstly, the emphasis on community. So loneliness is toxic. I said it earlier, it's worse than smoking, it's worse than obesity. The longest study on human well-being has been going for 86 years, Harvard study. And that the bottom line of that study is relationships are good for us.
Yeah,
community makes all the difference. And not just like the close relationships Damien and I share, for example, but that engagement you have with the barista, that look in the eye, that thank you, that engagement, that also boosts neurochemicals. It's good for you. Those social connections are vitally important. So COVID, man, did so much damage in separating and isolating us like that. So if you do have the opportunity to come back to the office, don't take that as I'm being forced to come back. No, it's an opportunity to engage, to be social, good for your health. So that's the one thing in terms of workplaces for men. The other thing is it's a place to educate our men. It really is. They're not going to get it on Netflix. They're not going to get it, they might get it from their wife, but who listens to your wife anyway? It's a place to really take the education of men's health seriously, particularly mental health. So when men think about depression, they're generally thinking a woman that's crying and sobbing and sad. That's the picture of depression they have. That's not what depression looks like in men. It looks very different.
Yeah.
In men, it's just like a lack of interest. It's meh. It's just numb. It's a bit hopeless. It overwork, big sign of depression in men. Risky behavior, alcohol abuse, substance abuse. Often there's so much of that happening to mask depression that when they do turn up for help, it's an alcohol issue and a substance abuse issue, not depression. But it started with depression. Yeah. Lower back pain, niggle pains, that's all signs of depression in men. Men don't know that. But at work, if we keep the conversation going, if we talk about those things, if we put them front and center, we kill the stigma around mental health. I mean, we know what the stats are. 1 in 6 pre-COVID South Africans, now 1 in 3 battle with anxiety and depression, or 1 in 3 people. I mean, those statistics are crazy. And then the suicide statistics we talk about. We have to talk about it, and workplaces are the places to do it.
No. But how do you create that safe culture in the workplace? What can be done?
I mean, any organization's culture is their own. Yeah. Right? It's like a family. It's a community.
Yeah.
You've got to create a safe space for the community to be safe. You're not going to have a conversation like we're having if I don't trust you.
Yeah.
I can't share my feelings with you if I don't trust you. So you need to be able to create a space where there's safety in your work culture, where everybody has the ability to share and be open. And if we also, that sounds so girly, It's not actually. It's so important. Mark said it's so important for us as men to feel connected with other men. So, man, go for a run together.
Yeah.
You go and do something go and do something manly if you want. Go play paddle. Go do, not if you're too old, because then we're going to have more claims, but no, I'm kidding. But go and do something with your colleagues. Go, have fun together as well. Create spaces where trust can be built up. Culture is in any organization is unique to that organization, but create safety for these conversations to happen just naturally. And if you don't have people who in your business are experts on them, get somebody in. Get Mark in to come and, hey, I'm going to host a function. We're going to talk a little bit about men's health, and let people change their mindsets around it. So, we do things like wellness days, where we have fun around health to try and create a bit of that, break some of the stigmas, but also have a bit of fun around it. But it also creates a culture within the business. Hey, my business is taking care of my health. They worried about my healthcare. They worried. So as companies do things that just break some of the monotony of the organization and set your business on a different set of rails. I don't have to do this all the time. I'm going to break this up a little bit, create a bit of environment where there's a bit of fun, do something that just breaks the monotony and brings people together, creates a space for people to engage and connect, because that's actually what we're designed for. We're not designed to sit behind screens all day.
And I think what I've learned as well is creating, especially for men, a space where it's only gents. Because what I've realized sometimes as men, we find it difficult to open up when sometimes there's women around, because they think you might not relate.
Never happens, right? Never.
It doesn't. So in terms of for momentum multiply, right? If someone is watching this or listening to this and is saying, we spoke about rewards earlier, what are some of those rewards for some of the members? Because I think rewards are the motivators, like what you're saying, is either the stick or the reward. What did you say are some of those rewards for maybe someone who's looking like for a quick rewards? Is it something like that? Like just
I think very, very, it's very easy. So again, with our program, if you're just starting it, you're joining Momentum Health for the first time, or Momentum Medical Scheme, and now you join a multiply program, it's actually really quick and easy to start. So the first part is actually know your health. It takes maybe 9 minutes. You do a whole scan. We give you heart rate variability. We tell you you're on a good track, or maybe you're not. These are some of the things you should be doing. And you get rewarded right then and there. Just for doing that, you're going to get rewarded. So there's financial reward, the health returns that I spoke about. And those ramp up as you become more physically and restful. So both of those, as I said earlier, we give you more money. So there's a financial reward. There's also other rewards around discounts at Puma or travel or gym membership and so on. So there's other things that we do in our daily routine where the partners that you're currently using, we have engaged with, and there's discounts that are available in them as well. So there are partner rewards, if I can call them that, and then there are health-related rewards. But those partner rewards also get better as your health gets better. And so we try and incentivize that whole journey. It's not, I have to be on this program for 5 years and have multiple set of momentum products. It's not a loyalty program. This is different.
Yeah.
This is a health program. If you are healthy when you join us, you can earn the maximum level of rewards pretty much from day one. It's not, I have to be on this program for 6 months before from day one, you can access, it's a health program. We want you to get rewarded for being healthy. So the healthier you are when you start, the more money you're going to have back. In fact, the more savings you're going to make. So it starts to link all the aspects together. Engage with health, mental and physical, you get rewarded. That reward helps you become better. Think about it. Everything Michael said. I'm more confident, I'm more comfortable, I've got more muscle mass, I'm firing, or everything's working. You become more, what's the right word?
That guy.
Yeah, you become that guy, right? Now at work, people are more attracted to you, not necessarily physically, but geez, I want to be around this guy. He's always positive. You feel better. It becomes that positive cycle. Right? Now on top of that, we're paying you back money every month, right? Now you become wealthier. Now legitimately, you're going to earn up to 1,000 Rand back every month. And that's for one adult in your family. If your wife is also doing it, it's 2,000 Rand. Think what you can do with 2,000 Rand every single month. Now you could put your kids into a different school. You can, save that for retirement. You can paddle.
Yes.
So now it starts, I'm wealthier.
Yeah.
Hold on. Now guess what happens? Over a cycle of a year or two, you are healthier. You claim less. I don't have to be on the same option that I'm on now. I can downgrade my option because I'm healthy. I'm not using as much healthcare. And all of a sudden, your health that you've invested in a very simple way has unlocked not just the physical aspect of what we're talking about, which is huge. It's also unlocked the financial aspect. And when you unlock the financial aspect, geez, hey, this is cool. I can buy the new white sneakers. I can buy a car. I can, without putting yourself into more debt, which creates a different negative cycle. You can keep up with the Joneses. Well, let's put it this way. You become the Jones.
Yeah, and everyone's trying to keep up with you. Yeah. And Michael, in terms of could you explain this concept, right?
Mm.
What's a health span versus a lifespan,
Oh,
particularly in men? What's the difference between the two?
great question. So lifespan is how long we live. Average global lifespan today around 73. Health span is how long we live free of disease and disability. Okay. How many good years do we have in that lifespan? That's health span. That global average is 63. So
It's 10 years.
shorter than lifespan. As a medical doctor, I was trained to extend lifespan. So we get to 70, 73, and then at great expense, with great discomfort and adult divers, I'm trying to extend life by a couple of years. Not cool. The whole focus, and we're seeing that shifted in medicine, which is very exciting in healthcare, is the shift is now, how do we prolong health span?
Yeah.
How do we give you better years for longer? So it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. And the best way to describe that is how not to die slowly. Because from 63, we're dying slowly. So you want to avoid that. And the ways to avoid that, the ways to promote health span is all we've been talking about today.
Yeah.
It's that proactive daily investment in my health so that my health span gets extended. And by default, your lifespan too. In Greek folklore, legend, there was this guy called Tithonus.
Yeah.
Tithonus goes to the gods and he says, can I have eternal life?
Yeah.
And to his great delight, the gods grant him eternal life. Can't believe it. Until he starts to get older and older and older and older. And he realizes, damn, I should have asked for eternal youth too. I'm hating my life because I'm just getting older and older. No one wants to live long if you're going to get old. Yeah. You want to live better. Yeah. Quality over quantity.
And that happens now.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen when you're 60. That foundation that you build to live health span happens
Exactly.
when you're 30.
Yeah.
The habits, the disciplines, the things you put in place now are the things that are going to, we always talk about save for your retirement,
Yeah.
right? We all put money aside. Every paycheck, we're putting money aside so we can live healthy or so we can live wealthy.
Wealthy, yes, yeah.
What have you done for your health, for your retirement today? Because if you're not putting something aside now, it's too late when you're 60. Your health span is then finite. You can't change your health span at 60, but you can change your health span today. So that discipline, those nudges, those small changes that you can make today can have a massive influence in that last 10 years. And you can die, and that sounds horrible, but you can die quickly. You live this great life, and then there's not this pain and suffering and stuff, the disability life sort of that you could end up in.
So as we close off,
We haven't talked about erectile dysfunction yet. I mean, this is a men's talk. What about ED?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, actually,
Wasn't in the script, was it?
it wasn't in the script. But then what causes that? It's testosterone.
Well, let me tell you, maybe ED is there are certain things, maybe two things, and that as men, these are like warning signs that you cannot ignore. So Darren talked about something goes blinking on your car, or your car makes a funny noise, we take it in immediately, but we don't do that to our bodies. These are two little red warning signs on your dashboard that you cannot ignore. The first is chest pain. Any kind of chest pain, guys, you go straight to the ER and get it sorted out. Why? Because the number one killer of men worldwide is heart disease, heart attacks. And it starts with hypertension or high blood pressure, no symptoms. In fact, the very first symptom of high blood pressure in 50% of cases is a heart attack. And you don't want to be that guy.
Yep.
Okay. So, and that heart attack, that whole kind of cardiovascular disease, when you're at that stage, starts with a little bit of chest pain. Radiate to your arm, up your jaw, all that. Any chest pain, get it checked out. It's like a jolly kidney stone. So is the thing, kidney stone forces you there. Chest pain, you don't have to go, but you must. And the other is erectile dysfunction. So men don't want to talk about that, obviously, because, guys, I'm battling to get it up. But what ED is a proxy for cardiovascular health. If blood flow in your penis is compromised, then blood flow to your heart is compromised. And it's one of the first signs before any other symptoms kind of come to fore. So it's a huge thing. If you're backing with that, get it sorted out. Go figure out why you're struggling to have an erection, because it's way more than just having sexual ability. It's your health.
Yes.
That is depicted in that. So
It's the blood pumping through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
So
there we go. Done. Tick. Erectile dysfunction. Okay, moving up.
So, if there are three things, right? Just three short points that you'd want the person watching, like literally to grasp from our conversation? I was actually thinking, right? I was saying after this, I'd like you to show me how to do the screen thing. I mean, Momentum Health was recently awarded the best innovator in healthcare. So, I mean, that's a great innovation to really look at. But 3 things, Michael, that you want the gents to take away from
Probably more philosophical than anything else. Well, if so, Damien kind of opened to that, and I just want to emphasize that just because you're not sick doesn't mean you're healthy. The absence of illness does not infer health. It just means you're not sick. Health is a proactive pursuit. How you eat, how you sleep, how you move, how you connect, vitally important. So, number 1. Secondly, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be proactive. It's a daily practice. Again, Damon referred to that. Our health span doesn't happen when we're 60. It happens now. Build that foundation. And then lastly, why? Why do you want to be healthy? Figure that out. And again, I'm going to take from something Damien said earlier. As men, we need to be there for our families, for our communities. It's not just our health. We are the pillars of society. We bear the brunt on our shoulders, and you need to be strong and healthy and sharp. I mean, to get up every morning, to be strong, to have a brain that's sharp, to have a heart that's connected, to look in the mirror and like that guy, that's what you want from your health.
Damon?
As I said earlier, I think for me, we see a lot of sickness because we're in a health insurance business. So we see a lot of people who are sick. And sadly, most of that is preventable. So for me is understand that your health legitimately is your wealth. There is no greater asset that you have than your healthcare. And to Mark's points, if you don't have that, it's so difficult to get up in the morning to like that guy. So understand that your health is your wealth, and then do things like you would with your most prized asset in your house. How do you protect that asset?
Yeah.
You insure it well. You look after it well. You make sure that it's safe. Make sure that you're protecting that asset. And so how do you protect your health? Become more physically active, sleep well, do the things that protect that asset and insure it. Too many of our young South Africans are going, I'm bulletproof. Mark said it earlier. I'm bulletproof. I don't need healthcare cover. I'll do it when I'm sick. It's too late then, right? So insure your health now. You might not take the biggest and best insurance policy, but you can never legislate a car accident or a stroke or something that happens. You need health insurance then. You don't want to leave your family financially destitute because you haven't taken the health insurance. So for me, it's your health is your wealth. And given that your health is your most important asset, what would you do to protect it? You exercise well, you rest well, you do those things. And now you can even get rewarded while you're doing those, but also insure your health. Make sure that you've taken the right levels of insurance for you and your family. I see lots of people also just insuring themselves. Hey, I'm healthy, therefore I take this plan. But what about your wife? What about your kids? What do they need? Make sure that insurance for your family is the right insurance, that you have, and get good advice to be able to do it. But for me, the most important thing is right now in your journey, wherever you are at, take that first step. That first step's often the hardest one. And, take that gym contract, go do it. Go for a run, to do the muscle work. And muscle work doesn't have to happen in the gym. You can do it at home. There's lots of stuff that you can do at home. That press up, sit up, body weights. So you can take that first step and get those disciplines in place, and you'll feel so much better about yourself. So that would be my ones.
If I were to tweet something,
Yeah.
well, if it would simply be this: change your mindset, gentlemen. So if you treat your health not like a sacrifice or a chore, but like your competitive advantage. Just change that mindset. It changes things.
So there you go, gents. Hope you got some valuable insights from this conversation. That was brought to you by Momentum Health, Momentum Multiply. Remember, just because you are not sick, it doesn't mean you're healthy. And take your health as your competitive advantage.